These are the Adeptus Titanicus models that I've been putting together as part of a small series on epic scale buildings, or at least making some epic scale buildings. So I put these models together from the boxed set, just so I've got something to use in conjunction with those buildings to help with showing the scale and how they might look. So it's a simple paint job, 2 or 3 colours and some weathering done on a light grey base, and then some colours picked out, such as the orange on the kind of armour plates here and there. So the thing I want to do now is do some weathering using a wash, and I've got this acrylic wash by Ammo, and it's called Starship Wash. So ideal for this sort of thing, I hope. Certainly the grey areas, I think it'll work quite well for that. I've tried it out just on a small test piece here, just to let me see how it might work. So this is the first time using an acrylic wash. I normally use the enamel washes. I thought I would give this one a go just to see what it's like. So it is a pretty small bottle that you get, but the idea is that probably a little goes a long way. And you can thin it out quite a lot just using water. And in some ways it seems to behave similar to the enamel washes, in that it looks like it wants to flow into the crevices and into the details, which is what I'm looking for. But I am going to make sure to thin it down plenty, because I don't want these to get too dark with the weathering layer. And then what I thought I would do, just for a bit of difference, is on the kind of larger armour plates, rather than just washing right across the whole lot, which would tint that grey layer, I reckon I'm just going to go down the edges of them, which is pretty quick and easy to do actually on these. Just to get a little bit of definition, and then any of the little surface details too, pick those out. And it does have quite a lot of colour to it. It's a strong wash, so it can take quite a lot of thinning. You can see why it's called Starship Wash. Almost perfect for your Star Wars models or other spaceships. But this grey paint scheme, I think, suits it really well. So if I try on the larger Reaver Titan, so on the fist here, maybe use a slightly heavier concentration on the fingers, while avoiding that large armour plate across the back of the hand. And that might just add a bit more interest to the paint scheme. And then when it comes to the likes of the Imperial emblem, just to help that stand out. Yeah, I think that'll work. I quite like the way that the wash seems to be made up of different tones. You can kind of see it separating in the little dish that I've got here. You know, it's like almost like coffee or something that's spilled out. But those different tones will be quite nice if it dries like that. So it goes from quite dark tones and then to that kind of lighter brown colour. So that's it working nicely on the grey stuff, but it's quite a matte finish. The orange is a bit more glossy. So if anything, it'll work even nicer. It's like a panel liner, and it's doing a really good job of picking out the detail. It certainly looks all grimy as advertised. It takes a while to work around the model like this, because I am trying to get every surface, or at least get into the recesses on every component. So there is a big difference between how the product works on a matte finish compared to a glossier finish, as you'd expect. So there, I've gone quite heavy, or come away from the edge too much. So I'll just clean the brush and start removing some of that. And then round the symbol. And let's try on the big emblem. Yeah, I really like the look. If you're wanting that very grimy finish, and maybe you don't want to be using the enamels or oil washes and things like that, I think this is an acrylic works really nice. Very similar to using an enamel. And you can reactivate it with a bit more water on the brush. Kind of feather it out a bit. I'm on to the last one of these Titans now. When you see the size of the bottle, you think that it's not very much, but it appears to be pretty highly concentrated. So for this size of miniature here, I'm just probably going to only need maybe 3 or so drops. It can take a lot of thinning, for sure. A little goes a long way. And when I want to cover a large area, I can just grab some water on the brush and throw it around, and it does a good job. I am trying to leave some of the panels a bit cleaner here and there, because it does look like they're getting quite grungy. It's a pretty grungy look overall. Again, a gloss coat prior to doing this would probably make a big difference if you're looking to keep something a bit cleaner and restrict the stuff to the recesses. As you can see there on the orange areas that are more glossy, that the product does flow around the edges and doesn't really stick to the surface so much. Okay, that's the weathering done. I've gone ahead and based them just to get them up to a finished standard. I think overall I'm happy how they've come out. If you are looking for a very quick and simple method of getting models like these painted, I think doing it this way makes a lot of sense. Simple colour scheme, and then fully relying on a product like this, a wash, just to go over them all and to give them a bit of something. Whether I've used the product properly or not, I'm not sure. It is called a wash. That implies that you would wash it over the entire model. The image on the label implies that it's been used across the whole thing. But it does dirty it down a lot. It's a very grimy look, so just be aware of that. But it's quick and easy to do and required little or no skill. And with complicated models like these, lots of panels, lots of small parts, I think painting all of that in as detailed a fashion that's shown in the box art or in the manuals, that is a lot of painting. So finding products like this that can just give you a bit of detail, enhance the edges, and add a bit of life to the models, I think is pretty helpful. These models are going to be used as part of a larger video, maybe a video series, in creating buildings for this kind of scale of miniature, this epic scale. That video will eventually go up. There will also be a painting of a backdrop. I need a backdrop to go with these right now. At the moment I don't have something suitable for a backdrop, so I'll maybe do a video on that also. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching the video.